Welcome to Mornings with Patricia. Happy Tuesday. Well, I didn't tape yesterday for today because it's been a remarkable and stressful and enlightening weekend. If you're on Facebook, you've probably seen my post about Romeo and how he got really sick late last week and then had to take him to the doctor on Saturday, and then on Sunday he lost all use of his legs, and so had to take him to the hospital on Sunday, and we took him to the vet today, and he is doing better. He's starting to use his legs now, and what a journey! What a what a journey this has been, and that's what I want to talk about. This journey and the emotions around it, and really, what we concentrate on when things are really important, when things are big. We use our emotions differently. I'm just going to adjust this a little bit. We use our emotions differently, and we respond differently, and things become differently important. So I'm going to read a quote from Adyashanti that artist posted today on Facebook. So this is from Adyashanti, Falling into Grace. And so here's the quote, "There's really nothing to learn here. Awakening is actually a process of unlearning. The important thing is where we're acting from, where we're relating from. When we relate from our true spiritual essence, then the quality of our relating is transformed. Then what we say to each other carries a whole different feel to it. It is then that we become expressions of peace rather than expressions of the insanity of a divided world. This revelation begins with the recognition that you are not your mind, and you are not your ego or your personality. In fact, you are something much, much vaster." I think I really had to pull on that this weekend. And what was very interesting to me was the oneness. And I said this to Romeo too, you and I are one. And I looked into his eyes. I might get a little bit emotional, so you'll just have to forgive me, please. I looked into his eyes, the suffering that he was experiencing. And then, this trust, that he had with all of us, that it was going to be okay. That something was going to happen, and to take him out of that and that pain. And, at that moment, your world becomes really small. So whether it's a pet or you or a friend or a family member that is experiencing something really huge in your life, your world becomes really small, and all of a sudden, everything that you thought that mattered suddenly comes from way out here to right, and your focus changes. You start to focus on what's really important right in front of you, and I think that's the remembering. I think Adyashanti is right. We're not so much here to learn as we're here to unlearn and really live from that feeling, that amazing feeling of connection. And that's what I felt with Romeo today. And then just to be aware of our emotions, not make them wrong, but be aware. So I was very aware all weekend, where I was at, whether I was in tears, or whether I was in fear, or whether I was in when I was doing Reiki on him, that deep expression of peace. Yeah, the weekend felt like a year. I felt so exhausted. It reminded me of the time that my dad was dying of cancer, and then my stepdad, and then my mom. And if you've ever taken care of someone, it's a very, at first it's horrifying, and then it's this very, communing process. And of course, you don't need to be terminal in anything in order to experience that. It's about where you put your attention and your emotions. Then I realized too, all different things are offshoots from whatever we're feeling. So I went to the store today and to get some food, and the checkout person was really sweet, asked if I wanted carry out. Yes, please. And so he asked the first person, like, and he says, well, she looks busy. I'll ask someone else. And he asked someone else, and she like kind of grudgingly came over. I'm just noticing all this, right? And and then I turn around and she's gone. And I look at him, and there was this, other person there. And so it's time to take the cart out, and the other person is gone. And I look at the guy, say, really? Three checkout calls? So, okay. So I start to push the cart out, and I realize this person's waiting. The person that's going to take it out is waiting for me to take my own cart out. And so I kind of just went past her and left and went to my car, and I'm like, oh my goodness, okay. And when I thought, well, I wonder if they have a call number on there that I can just text and say what my experience was. And then I thought, oh my goodness, Patricia, seriously, you just had, you and your family just had this crazy weekend of emotions, high emotions, and so painful. It doesn't matter. Is it worth it? I had to ask myself, is it worth it? As I'm walking out to my vehicle, is it worth it to cause anyone pain? It wasn't about, I felt like there was something bigger going on here. It's not about people doing or not doing their job. I understand that, but it was just too, I always say, when anything's too ludicrous, spirit's involved. There's something there for you to look at. Maybe not a lesson, but, something to look at. So by the time I got to my vehicle, I'm like, you know what? I'm good. And I just spent some peace and blessings. And I look around, and there's the gal. And she's like, gonna load my vehicle. I'm like, no, it's okay, I got it. And then I saw her face. And I saw that she was, the last person was a differently abled person. And I looked into her eyes, and I said, it's okay, I said, I do have it. Thank you so much. And she's like, oh, okay, thanks. And went off, and I was like, oh, spirit. Patricia, and anyone watching, remember your gentle nature. Remember your ability to come from that gentle place, that emotive gentle place, and how gently we were held all weekend, even though it was really, really difficult. And how gently Romeo held us, and we held Romeo, right? So it's like, you can see when you're overtired or there's anything of emotions going on, how they can just kind of starburst out into this pattern that can create a lot of chaos. And it's about remembering that, we're together, that we're one, we're connected, and to treat others how we would want to be treated. Yeah. So I really appreciate, I'm just reading it off of Facebook, off my phone. I just really appreciate, Ardith posting that, because I do like Adyashanti. So if you've never experienced any of Adyashanti's work, he is well worth your time. It's Adyashanti, I think. Adyashanti. I'm still kind of tired. So the meds for Romeo are kind of around the clock, and so set your alarm and get up and keep doing life as normal. So the takeaway that I'd love to have you consider for this during your day is maybe you've had a time in your life where something was so important, so overwhelming that your world went. And if that's the case, consider at that time how special everything was, right? I mean, for me this weekend, it was, Romeo's look, or, when he could first wag his tail, when he first started to walk. You know what I thought about? I thought, oh my goodness, how many times have I seen this dog walk? How many times has he wagged his tail at me? And when he couldn't wag his tail, I like held my breath, waiting for his tail to wag. It's the things that happen all around us all the time that, that we take maybe for granted in our emotive capacity. So whether at work or wherever, it's maybe, seeing a friend's face, or what would it be like if you couldn't experience on a daily basis what you're experiencing? I mean, you may not always like it all the time, or maybe you discount it. Maybe you think, oh, it's just, dog wagging its tail. Until it's not. Right? Until it's not. And those are the things that we unlearn. It's not to learn, it's about unlearning, because our natural behavior is to kind of just take in all of that, those things with our five senses, and register them as a normal, everyday thing, and take that for granted until we don't have it anymore, or until it's suspended and we don't know if it's coming back. Every second of our lives, no matter how mundane, we may think they are precious. They're precious. So tonight, after I taught class, I was getting my food ready to eat because the family had already eaten. And I had to be careful because for 2 days, Romeo wasn't there. And all of a sudden he's underfoot. And I'm like, how wonderful is that? Right? And to watch my family, like Michael, taking care of him, I got to appreciate Michael in a new way. Well, I always appreciate the family, I appreciate Michael so much, but, the caring and love and all the healing everybody sent. Just, I guess my thing is, watch your emotions, watch the starburst of them, remember to treat others as you would want to be treated. And don't take anything for granted, right? The mundane. Oh, how much you love the mundane every day when you don't have it. Right? So, okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, I love myself. I love you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday.